is the first of revamping some old videos. If you would like to see how I completed this new version of Sally, then go ahead and keep on watching. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below what else you'd like to see for Halloween, and I can see what I can go ahead and incorporate to the already 20+ looks that are actually coming for you guys for Halloween. So if you'd like to see this one in particular, go ahead and keep on watching. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. All materials and products used will be linked below. And to start, I'm going to block out my entire face, neck, and a portion of my chest with a pale blue-gray body paint. Using my China marker, I'm going to go ahead and block out some lines for the edges and the seams for Sally's dress. I wasn't happy with where I had placed the original edges of the dress, so I went ahead and drew new edges here. And now that the paint is dry, I like to powder with a translucent powder to set the whole thing. Moving on to the major areas of the dress, I'm just going to block in some basic color into each area. Adding a lighter tone to the center of each area and darkening out towards the edges to give a little bit of depth to it and just something nicer to look at. You will notice that I didn't do the gradient effect on the yellow shoulder. That's because there's going to be lines with its own shading in that area later on. Working with a nice bright blue shade, you're going to go ahead and use it the same way you would use bronzer and blush in your normal makeup routine, and you're going to also bring it down onto your neck and the edges of your dress as well. And I'm adding some darker warm tones in the sections of the dress also. Using a dark gray tone, you want to sculpt the sides and the bottom of your nose to give that super narrow look that she has in the movie. Then take a black shadow and lightly line your bottom lids, leaving an empty space between your line and the edge of your eyelid. To start, for the eyes, you want to add the same blue shadow to your lid area above your crease. With the black shadow, I decided to fill in the brows softly in a rounded shape. You'll want to use some black shadow in the crease of your lid and work it upwards to add some more depth to your eyes. Moving on to her stitches, I started making little dashes in a line with the China marker. These are going to be openings in your skin later on, so you're going to want to leave a space in between each dash for your stitches that you're going to be making later on. Back to that gray shadow, you want to very softly blend on each side a parallel line to each stitch line, but slightly away from the stitch line itself. Leaving that space will give the illusion that the stitch area is raised a little and does half of that work for you. Using black body paint, you're going to want to create even-sized dots along the stitch, one above and one below each of the spaces you made. With that same paint, you'll want to outline the edge of her outfit and the seam lines between, and use the same for the thick stitches on the seams. Taking a very fine brush, I'm just using that same paint watered down for some very thin stitches. Add a loose thread and the stitches are done. Now take that same brush and paint and create the swirls and lines on her dress. I've chosen to do a very dramatic cat's eye to the upper lid since she has such almond-shaped eyes in the film. Now stop. If you're going to, this is where you should put in your contacts if you have not already. With white body paint and liner, fill in that space under the eye that we left before. For the lips, lightly line your lips with the China marker to avoid any bleeding later on, and then fill in with your favorite red lipstick. I'm then pressing a red shadow on top to seal it in. Now Sally doesn't really have eyebrows in the movie, but I wasn't happy with the look, so I decided to fill in the brows with a black body paint in a very similar shape that we already did. Using that gray shadow again, dust the edges of your lips for detail. I decided to add a little tiny bit of black body paint detailing to the very tip of the nose to make it even more defined. Now that the lines are dry, add an orange shadow down each stripe. Going back to the stitching, add a thin white line below each stitch for a highlight. And time for some crazy dramatic lashes. And here's where it all goes wrong. Guys, this is why you put your contacts in before you do your look. My eye has stuff all up under it and it is all burning and going red. It's okay, we're gonna give it a second to settle. Now to fix the makeup and not be aware that your lid is all messed up. Oh well, nothing's perfect. Moving on. Add a wig and you are done. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, even with the tears.